Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob. This video we're going to do another viewer request for Godzilla 2014. And this one's going to be a bit of a combo. I'm going to discuss whether or not Toho is going to continue to make Godzilla movies after this movie, and also how I would want to do or what I would want to see in a sequel. Okay guys, welcome back. So this is kind of a two-parter video. I know I discussed a sequel before, my thoughts on that, and people had asked me, things going on after Godzilla. But this question while it's kind of in the same category, the person asked me what I would want to see in a sequel. So I'm just going to do that here along with this one regarding the Toho movies. Now to start with Toho, I think that it would definitely be a good business decision for them to start making Godzilla movies after this, simply because if the movie is successful and it's a hot thing, then they can kind of strike while the iron's hot and maybe pump out a couple more movies. I think the question is, do you wait till they make a trilogy, or do you wait right away and start production shortly after the movie was released in 2014? Either or, I think one of the things that's a big question mark is, where do you go from what the United States is doing in terms of a CGI Godzilla? Do you go back into a rubber suit, or do you try to do CGI? I know there's a lot of old school Godzilla fans that are all about the rubber suit. They want nothing to do with CGI, and I'm sure even for the most part, they would go as far as to not even watch this movie, and I'm sure they're criticizing it up the wall. While I haven't gotten wind of any of that, I'm 100% certain there's some out there. With that said, on the other hand, I think that there are some people in the newer generation that are going to embrace the CGI Godzilla because it looks more real. It's set up, at least the way this movie looks, it's set up to be very grounded, as crazy as that may sound when you consider these are giant monsters. So, and then you got people like me, middle of the road, where I love the suit Godzillas, I love the old school stuff, but I'm more than willing to accept the change and embrace this new Godzilla design, because whether or not Godzilla lives on into the future is really dependent on this movie. You'll always have those hardcore fans that love the rubber suit, and if Toho were to make rubber suit movies, they're gonna have those fans, bar none. Those fans are there. But a lot of the latest Toho Godzilla movies were not that successful. Godzilla Final Wars, for example, as cool as it was, and as nice as that suit was, and as fun as it was to see all the monsters in the movie, it just did not do well. It didn't. And I think we're at a point now, we're at a crossroads where if Toho's going to make a movie, they have to make a decision. Either please the hardcore fan and do the rubber suit and nothing else, or try to gain, and this is not a guarantee, try to gain the general audience and do a CGI Godzilla in the likeness or similar to Godzilla 2014 in the United States. I think if they were going to go the rubber suit route, I think it would be wise for them to keep the budget to a minimum, and just know that you're going to be pleasing the hardcore rubber suit fans. Even fans who like me, who like the rubber suit or am willing to accept the CGI. If Toho made a rubber suit Godzilla, I'd be the first one to buy it. But I think if they're gonna do more movies and they're gonna go the rubber suit route, I think they need to keep the budget small so they can turn a profit, because you're gonna please the hardcore fans. The new fans that might have been earned from the new Godzilla movie coming out, I don't know if they're going to be able to fall back on a rubber suit. After seeing Godzilla being in CGI, and if this movie lives up to its billing, I don't know if they're going to be able to accept going, downgrading, so to speak. And that's not an insult to the suit, because, we all know that the beauty of the suit Godzilla is the appreciation of the art of the person in it. It's a lot of hard work to be in those heavy suits for hours, sweating, being on your hands and knees, falling around. you can't duplicate that on CGI. You can't. However, CGI also in and of itself is a lot of hard work. You have to put a lot of hours in to the polygon count, to the coloration, the animation, the rendering. I mean, I get an idea of what it's like to do a very small amount. I'm not an animator. I'm not any good at it. But I can tell you right now, when I was in school and I did have a 3D animation class, my teacher was very tough. You had to come up with animated small clips, and mine sucked. And as simple as they looked, and when I tell you simple, they look simple. I'm talking stick figures or 3D stick figures I was making. The amount of time that went into making something so trivial and then putting it into motion from one frame to another. I mean, I remember I did this one clip. It was a piece of crap. In fact, I think I might still have it. And if I do, I'll show you guys one day. It was a piece of crap. I got a good grade on it because the effort was there, and he knew I wasn't. I even told him, but it was crap. It was a little 3D stick figure in the middle of a graveyard, and all I did was an overhead shot. It was like maybe 8 seconds, a couple of seconds. It took me 16 hours to do that. So as much as it's easy to criticize CGI and look at CGI and say, hey, that looks like crap, you still can appreciate the hard work in CGI as well. I mean, how many Godzilla movies, let's be honest, how many old Godzilla movies don't look that great, but you still got to appreciate the guy in the suit busting his tail to put on a show. The same thing with CGI. I mean, this is why these movies take so long to make, because the amount of time to do one animation to the next, render, and the rendering, forget it. So some of these little videos you guys see me do with all the green screen and the little whatever, even those little simpleton things take me a day or two, and 90% of some of the stuff I have are templates. I just have to do small editing and rendering, and even then it still takes a long time. Even by cutting my work in half, it still takes me a while to get a finished product that looks halfway decent. So at the end of the day, yes, I think Toho will try and strike while the iron's hot. It's a matter of whether they're going to wait for the United States to finish a trilogy if they decide to do one, or if they're going to do a Godzilla movie right away. And at the end of the day, I think if I was a betting man, I think they'll go the suit route. They'd be wise to keep the budget small. Just try to keep keep your hardcore fan base, because there's no guarantee that this new Godzilla movie is going to be a good movie, because let's be honest, the jury's still out, and B, whether it's even going to maintain whatever fans it gains, because everybody now is like bandwagon jumpers. 1 minute they're all about one thing, next minute they're all about something else. So even if Godzilla does gain a new fan base, whether or not it retains that fan base for a long period of time is something else. So now, in terms of what I'd like to see in a sequel, this is very simple. If they make a sequel, I want it to have continuity. I want it to pick up where the prior one left off. I don't want to see full cities in the sequel. I want to see a path of destruction, and then a path of destruction being continued. I want it to be potentially a world-ending event that spans over a certain amount of movies. Within that, I would love to see more monsters. Would love to see Toho monsters, but we don't know if we're ever going to get that. But if nothing else, I would really like to see some good creation. I mean, we don't know what the Muto look like yet, so the jury's still out. But either or, if the Muto look great, I want them to continue with original, groundbreaking designs. And if the Muto don't look great, then I expect them to improve upon that. So either way, it's that simple. Now, in terms of whether or not I want Gareth Edwards to follow up on his Monster Island thing, I think that'll be cool. The world is a big place. We haven't explored everything, and there's a good possibility that there might be an uncharted island out there, and I think they can run with that. But when you think Monster Island, you kind of think about all the giddiness that's Godzilla, and that's where I think you kind of toe the line from dark and gritty into the cheesy area. So I don't think I would want to call it Monster Island. Maybe the Monster Capture Zone, or just, I don't know, give it some different name and make it a discovery. Make it something that no one ever found, and something that maybe the Muto organization is trying to conceal. Maybe they knew about it, or maybe the Muto made a bunch of other monsters that they've kept on this island secret. The two Muto monsters from the first movie broke off the island, and now there are other threats on that island that mankind has to worry about on top of Godzilla. I think that would be a very compelling story, and I don't think you have to call it Monster Island. You can trust the general popular Godzilla fan community to know, hey, that's Monster Island. They're not saying it, but that's Monster Island. Kind of like Nolan in the last Batman movie. You knew that was Catwoman, but they never called her Catwoman. Something like that. Because if you put Monster Island in that, if you say, oh, look, Monster Island, you're going to bring cheesiness into it. I hate to say that. I don't mean to kind of, I mean, no, I do mean to be honest. I mean, I'm not going to fall back from what I'm saying. Monster Island's great. It's great to, you know, back in the day when you see all the monsters there, but Monster Island, I don't think you can really carry that name into this potential trilogy. So, but yeah, that's what I would want to see in a sequel. I do think Toho will make more monsters, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I will continue to do more viewer requests. Trust me, I am keeping an eye on the comments. I have not forgotten any of you that have made requests. Just give me time to film the videos and, you know, do my little editing, and I will put them up as soon as possible. Feel free to continue making requests. I'll be more than happy to do them, and I will see you guys next video. Take it easy.